Welcome back. Today I'm going to talk to you about adjective clauses, or those subordinate clauses that function as adjectives. If you were with me earlier, then you noticed that we did adverb clauses, which began with subordinated conjunctions or subordinate conjunctions. And there's a long list of those that will indicate when an adverb clause is functioning, when it's functioning as an adverb clause. Today, though, we'll be doing adjective clauses. And adjective clauses begin with relative pronouns. There are only 5 of those, so that'll be much easier for you to remember. And those are who, whose, whom, which, and that. Just those 5. Who, whose, whom, which, and that. If you remember how we put brackets around the adverb clauses before, when we analyze the adjective clauses, we will also put brackets around those clauses to differentiate or to separate the adjective clauses from the independent clause that makes up that complex sentence. Let's start with our first sentence. The first sentence is, pass me the puppy that has the brown eyes. Pass me the puppy that has the brown eyes. Make sure that you're writing these with me. If you don't write them with me, you won't be getting any practice. I'll be getting all the practice, and I'll be getting better and better at it, and you won't. So make sure that you analyze these with me. The first thing that we look for is our conjunctions, or in this case, our relative pronouns. Remember, there are who, whose, whom, which, and that. I notice that I have a relative pronoun, that. And since I know I have it, I'm going to put brackets around here because adjective clauses begin with who, whose, whom, which, or that. This will be the beginning of the clause. Has the brown eyes will be the end of the clause. We're going to leave that alone for a moment and come back over here to make sure we still have an independent clause. If you get to this side and you have sectioned off too much for your dependent clause to the point where you don't have something that can stand alone, then you've done that part wrong. So let's check our independent clause. Looking for looking for conjunctions, then prepositional phrases. I don't see either. Now we're going to look for a verb. Here's my verb, pass. Remember that we said with those imperative sentences like sit down, don't do that, come here, that you're looking for an understood subject of you. So that subject is you, pass. What are you passing? You're not passing me. Remember we talked about indirect objects. You're actually passing the puppy, but you're going to pass the puppy to me. So this is an indirect object. And there's my one-word adjective telling you which puppy. Can this part stand alone? You pass me the puppy. Yes, it can. So you haven't sectioned off too much to keep from losing your independent clause. Now this part is going to actually have to describe something in your independent clause. We know that we're talking about this particular puppy, the one that has the brown eyes. Most of the puppies I've seen have had brown eyes. I don't know where that came from. I don't know, you had any green-eyed puppies? I don't know. But anyway, just stay with me. That is actually going to function as your subject in this one, though you'll find out because you'll look and you'll see nothing else but that. Your verb is has. Your subject is that. Has whom or what? Eyes. So this is my direct object. Then the only thing left are my one-word adjectives, which are both describing the eyes. We've got every word in the sentence analyzed. And this is an entire adjective clause describing the puppy. Which puppy? The puppy that has the brown eyes. I think we're going to go ahead and try to diagram that and see what happens. I think you can do that. Let's put our long baseline, and let's put you as your subject. Since it wasn't in the original sentence, we're going to put it in parentheses, indicating that it was not there in the first place. And then our verb, pass. Remember that I said that indirect objects function as prepositional phrases that we jerked the prepositional phrase out of? So we're going to put pass the puppy to, in parentheses, me. Because that's really what you're doing. You're passing the puppy to me. So you're really passing it where? To me. We're going to put puppy right here. The puppy. Now, since this is describing the puppy, we're going to have to find a way to link that has the brown eyes, but keeping it subordinate, which is not the main clause. Putting it under the main clause. That has eyes. What kind of eyes? The brown eyes. And then we're going to put a dotted line to show that this entire clause is describing this puppy. Did we get every word? You pass me the puppy that has the brown eyes. Every word in the sentence. Now you know that was fun. Try that again later. Let's do another sentence that has an adjective clause. Is this the lady who won your heart? Is this the lady who won your heart? Running out of room. Woo, barely. All right. Is this the lady who won your heart? First thing we'll look for is those relative pronouns. In this case, it's who. Remember, it was who, whose, whom, which, or that. This is the beginning of the adjective clause. This is the end of the adjective clause. If that is so, we can take this adjective clause out, and we'll be left with an entire sentence. Is this the lady can function alone, so we didn't chop off more than we should. Looking for conjunctions, none. Prepositional phrases, none. Verb, we have is. Subject, this. And since this is a linking verb, remember we talked about predicate nominatives and predicate adjectives, this is the lady. So lady is a noun, making this a predicate nominative. And then you have your one-word adjective describing the lady. This all functions as your independent clause. This functions as your dependent clause. Let's analyze our dependent clause. One is our verb. Who has to function as your subject. So it's doubling as your subject and your connecting word, that relative pronoun is. Remember, pronouns can be subjects as well. Who won your heart? And heart is actually your direct object, because who won, whom, or what is your direct object. You might wonder, should who be the direct object in that sentence, but it wouldn't be, because who would have to be whom if it's going to be an object. Remember, subject pronouns are who, and object pronouns are whom. So who won your heart is my complete adjective clause describing the lady. I won't diagram this one for you. You kind of got a clue with that one. It would look very similar. You'd have, is this the lady? This is lady, but this would be slanted. And then who would be under lady with the dot, dot, dot. And it would connect who to lady. And then one would be there and heart would be there. That would be really cute. Try that by yourself. The next sentence is students who want pizza should stand in that line. Students who want pizza, make sure you're writing these with me, or you won't be getting any practice, should stand in that line. Now I did this on purpose so you could notice that that is not always a relative pronoun. That can actually be a demonstrative pronoun, this, that, these, and those. So watch how you just go in and just start circling that, because it may not be what you think it is. We do, however, have who as a relative pronoun. So I could actually start it with who, want pizza, and end it right here. This only is going to work if I pull this out, jerk it out, throw it on the floor. I should still have students should stand in that line. And that actually functions as an independent clause. So you'll notice that this is an adjective. Adjectives can be removed from your sentence and you'll still have a complete thought. So let's ignore that for a moment and let's focus on the rest of it. That's your independent clause. Students should stand in that line. We don't have any conjunctions. We do, however, have prepositional phrases. And we do have a verb, not just a verb, but also a helping verb or auxiliary verb. Call it that where you are. And then students is telling you who should stand. In that line is telling us where they should stand. So that's going to be an adverb phrase, with your that functioning as a demonstrative adjective. This is your preposition. If you haven't memorized those yet, please go back and memorize those. Your life will be so much simpler if you memorize those. And then you're left with this part. Everything's been analyzed there. Let's focus on the part in the middle. Who is actually going to be your subject there? Won't and we won't. Whom or what? Pizza. We do have room, however, to diagram this one. So let's throw this one down here and see what happens. Remember that who is going to be an adjective clause describing the students. So we would start with students as my subject. Should stand. And when we said where should they stand, they should stand in that line. So in that line is described is a modifying where they should stand. And then this is telling you which students, the students who want pizza, but we're going to put it under your main clause because it's dependent upon the clause above it, right? And this is what we're describing. So who's connecting it to the students who want pizza is dependent or subordinate, which means it goes under your main clause, and your main clause is students should stand in that line. Did we get every word? Students who want pizza should stand in that line. Very good. Keep practicing, and you should be able to do this with your eyes closed underwater. Have a great time. See you next time.